Good luck.
Morning. How are you? What? Thanks. Okay. Let me start with a simple question for you. What is the price of GA Profile Adventium 120 microwave? Come on, you have your mobile phones. I'll help you. Okay, what do you think the price is at Sears? No clue? Okay, it's almost $900. What about Best Buy? Higher, lower, lower. It's 809. What about Amazon? In the middle? Who's it for in the middle? Like 2? Lower? Higher? Okay. So currently, like this moment, the price is $870. Why currently? Because Amazon is using dynamic pricing. They will change prices of their products about 12 times a day. And how can they do this? How can they manage to change prices so fast? Because they are tracking us. They are tracking user behavior. They are tracking how this behavior influences the purchase decision. And based on these data and location and weather and all other data, they are changing the prices all the time. So consumer behavior has changed. What? Okay. Like every day, every year, we say the same. Consumer behavior has changed. But this time for real. And as we were like speaking for the last 5 years about, or maybe 10 years about mobile revolution, I think it's finally here. But because I know that you don't believe me, I did some research. I pulled together all the data from our clients and compared it year to year, so 2015 versus 2014. And what we see is that their traffic on mobile phones increased for 85%. But okay, you'll say, it's only traffic. It doesn't bring conversions. Oh no. Basically, conversion rate increased for 44%, and revenue increased for 160%, only on mobile phones. So if you think like mobile phones are not important, for our clients, this year they made a couple of million euros of sales over mobile phones. So a couple of million. If you think it's not important, just bring the money here, please. So, okay, marketing was never easy. With introduction of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, and all the stuff that's coming up, it got even more complicated. So, how can we actually know what users are doing? We know that 80% of all conversion paths on digital include more than one digital channel. So this one is obvious. Nobody goes on your website, let's say from email or from Google, and then buys the stuff. Even more importantly, we know it has a huge diversity. So we are on average tracking more than 10,000 different keywords per website, which users are putting in Google to access this website. So if you're like preparing your search strategy for AdWords or for SEO, and you think, okay, I know the 10 keywords that I need to optimize for, like you couldn't be more wrong. On average, again, more than 10,000 keywords. And then again, each buyer is totally different. What we are tracking is around 3,700 different conversion paths. Different paths that users will take throughout consumer decision journey to finish the purchase cycle. So what we need to do is really to understand the consumers. How can we catch them in really important moments for them? What do consumers want? And here's the answer. Who can crack it? I'll give you a hint again. Very good-looking brand would like to meet consumers with good sense of humor for long-term relationship. And the point is long-term relationship. So nobody's here for one night stand. We want a relationship with our brands, with our friends, and so on. And do you think we are successful? Who thinks is successful online? No one? Eagles, okay, you are. So on average, our success rate is 15%. 15% of users will start a checkout process on a website. So they will not buy stuff, but they will put a product into the basket. Only 15%. And even worse, out of those 15%, only 11% will finish the process. So that leaves us at the end with around 1% of conversion rate. Oh. So what's going on with the rest? So 99% of consumers leave the website before finishing the purchase. What are we going to do? Almost 90% of those users will abandon the checkout process. To get better on digital, we need to understand the consumers better, and we need to establish metrics to understand the consumers better. To do that, we need three different things. First, we need data. We need lots of data, and we need to track consumers throughout the consumer decision journey, from the first touch point to the last one. And we need to define macro and micro conversions, not just to track revenue and number of transactions, but every micro conversion on the website we can track. And this is a really nice slide of our consumer decision journey, so it really doesn't matter what it says. It could be awareness, preference, or purchase. It could be considered a valid buy, or we are using the Kaushik terminology, sitting do. And while users are moving throughout the consumer decision journey, their needs are changing. And you need to know how they are thinking and so on. More about that a little bit later. But why we need to track the consumers? Because if we track them throughout the consumer decision journey, we know, first of all, what's the length of our consumer decision journey. So in travel industry in Europe, how long do you think the average consumer decision journey takes? How many days? From when I start to, let's say, researching a vacation package till the day I book the vacation package. 1 month?
3 months.
3 months? 5 days? Of course, it depends on the product, it depends on the country, but on average, I think it's 31 days. Yeah, it's 1 month. So imagine that your boss says, okay, let's do a digital campaign, we'll put 10,000 euros into this campaign, and we want to sell more vacation packages. And after a week, he comes to you, okay, where are the results? And you go into Google Analytics, you go into your whatever software you're using, and you see there are no conversions, and your head goes off, and you're fired. But if you know that on average your consumer decision journey takes, let's say, 1 month, then you know that you are not to expect the results before that. Secondly, you know the number of interactions users need to take on different touch points with your brand to complete the purchase. So again, nobody will purchase on the first interaction with your brand because they don't know you, they don't trust you, and so on. A second, and the last one, is transactions between different channels. So how one channel is influencing the other, and how one micro conversion, let's say a user will read a review on a website, influences the second micro conversion. So to be more exact, this is a website of our client. It's in Slovene, I'm sorry, but you'll understand. The micro conversion we are tracking is, of course, the purchase, not the add to cart, but okay, you'll see the point. So the micro conversions we are tracking is register, sign up for newsletter, then reviews, and favorite list, and compare the products. And if we scroll a little bit further down, then see the reviews from other users, check the stock. Then we have a guide to select the TV, social actions, and so on. And also, if they visited our content hub to read articles regarding the products. When we define these micro conversions, we can map them on the consumer decision journey. So again, these are the micro conversions, and we see that we can map them in awareness, preference, and purchase phase. These are long-term business objectives, these are mid-term, and these are short-term business objectives. And we know that new followers on social and other social actions, basically they don't have immediate short-term business effect, but on the long term, they are going to help us. Same with medium, mid-term, and then we have short-term effects like reviews, contact forms submitted, bookings, and so on. When we do this, we need to know that we need to adapt the metrics for each stage as well. So we cannot track or measure revenue and macro conversions if our goal is to increase awareness. So if we are increasing awareness based on different levels of our clients, we are using different metrics. Let's see, frequency and reach, number of new visitors. For research phase, we are using engagement, bounce rates, so on. For purchase phase, days to convert, assisted conversions, and of course, revenue, macro conversions, and so on. Okay, so we know now what's going on our website. But who's on mobile phone right now? Like half of you. We are all switching devices. That's my point. And if we are tracking user only on one device, and we did not establish the cross-device tracking, we don't see the big pictures. Luckily, Google did think about it and develop functionality in Google Analytics which enables you to match or to cross-match the users on different devices. So one specific user using 3 devices looks like this if you don't have user-centric analysis. If you're using cross-device tracking, you basically see one user across all devices. This enables you at the end to actually see the whole conversion path from display or first click, wherever it was, up to the last conversion, which is usually, again, if you're not in travel industry, but in any other industry, it's in-store, so offline conversions. So it's a lot of bullshit at the end. Yeah, not really. It works. These are the numbers from one of our clients. They are selling sneakers and sport equipment from Croatia. And their conversion rate, while we are using this approach, conversion rate increased for more than 130%. Bounce rate, it's only 26%. The average user will see at least 14 pages per visit and 45% increase in number of transactions. Why? Why again are we doing this? Because we need and we want to understand users better. This will enable us to target users more exactly throughout the consumer decision journey, and because of that, we are going to increase the performance and ROI of our digital marketing. So this is the analytics stuff. So I get it. We have like data now. But next step is to get insights. First of all, you should know that aggregated data is shit. Like, conversion rate is shit. Do you agree? Yeah, everybody agrees. And cost per action as well. So if I tell you your conversion rate is 1%, what does it mean? Is it good? Is it bad? 1% conversion rate, who thinks it's good? Yeah. You need additional metrics. You need additional metrics to see and compare and to go more deeply in. So what we suggest is we are using this, again, similar to Google Analytics, acquisition behavior outcomes, and we want to know first which channels drive traffic. And of course, when we look at all the channels, you'll see that organic traffic is responsible for 66% of income on the web. Income, not traffic, income. And then you have 15%, depending how much you invest in paid advertising for paid search. Then you have 10% direct, 8% referral, some email display, and social. So what I'm saying, if you like sum these 3 up, you have 70, 80, 90% almost. Yeah. All the rest are shit. Forget about it. Forget about social, forget about display, forget about email. Cool? No. It's true that majority of last click conversions are made via branded traffic. But other channels like social email, social media email, and display networks are playing crucial role as assisted conversions. And if we cut those off, we are not putting new people on top of the funnel, and we are going to lose the conversions in time. And again, 64% conversion paths include non-branded traffic. So 64% of paths of users won't visit your website, like typing www your domain into Google or to visit your website, but they will come through other sources. And because we now have all the micro-conversions defined, we can prepare reports like this. This is from Google Analytics, And in this case, I have all the micro-conversions for the case we were discussing before, from the first step back to the conversion and purchase, and segmented for each channel. So what I can see here is actually which channels are bringing good traffic to specific micro-conversions. And I know that direct, organic, search, and refer are really good to read for reading articles. I know that, organic is good for reviews, and that refer is good to, I don't know what. And again, organic and paid search are really good for purchases. Even further, I can see the conversion rate for each micro-conversion for each channel. And based on this, I can actually optimize my selection of digital channels. So I know where I'm using Google, where I'm using Facebook, if I'm using it correctly, and so on. Secondly, how are users behaving? Of course, we know that we all have different devices, and majority of users will go online on your desktop device in the morning in Slovenia or in the Adriatic region around 11 a.m. And the peak for mobiles and tablets, it's in the evening while we are in front of the TV sets or something similar. But more importantly, if we compare the behavior and outcomes for the users on different devices, we'll see that the average order value on tablet is the highest. And on mobile is the lowest. The conversion rate on tablet is quite the same as on the desktop, and of course, desktop still represents 92% of revenue share overall. Why the average order value on tablets is the highest? In my opinion, because if you can afford a tablet, you are a little above the average on your pay grade. Further on, who's using enhanced e-commerce? Nobody. Who has his own e-commerce website? Like nobody, okay. If you have an e-commerce website, or if you're selling some stuff on the web, you should be using enhanced e-commerce because it enables you to see more deeply into user behavior. Not to see only checkout behavior from the basket on, but to see the shopping behavior. How many users did view a specific product? How many users did view a specific list of products, and so on? Even better, you can import or add additional metrics to Google, like weather tracking, product data, purchase price, and so on, and you can operate with those metrics as well. And if you're more into content, you should be tracking how users are reading your content. So this is our blog, but we are doing similar stuff for our clients as well. And each article actually has a script which enables us to see how far to the bottom users are scrolling and reading it. And then we fire everybody who's below the average. So the fluctuation in our agency is quite high. Okay, how are users behaving? Users who buy, so buyers behaving. 50% of visitors will visit website, of course, more than one before the purchase. 40% of those will visit a website more than 5 times to gain trust, to research. 1/3 of transactions will happen within a day, but again, it's a little gray area because majority of websites are still not using cross-device tracking, and 40% of purchase cycles will last more than 7 days. And the last part, what influences, of course, the conversion? We know that, of course, referring visitors, they will convert twice as much as the new visitors because they know your brand and so on. Even more importantly, branded visitors, those who will type your domain name into Google or into the browser, will convert 2.5 times more than non-branded visitors. But this is the usual stuff. Then we go further. We can now track how specific ad will influence the purchase decision. So if a user did click on a specific ad, didn't buy, then go, let's say, home, went on Facebook, and then came back to our website and purchased something, is this specific ad really influencing the purchase decision? And we know that in some cases, of course, if a user sees a specific ad, it will increase the conversion rate a lot. Even further, you can do the same thing with digital channels. So let's say if a user came through Facebook, the conversion rate is 1.58. If it came from Google, it's 1.97. If it came from Facebook and Google, so 2 visits, then it's 2.44. And if he came from Facebook and Twitter, whatever, it's 2.581. Yeah. So based on that, again, you see how important your digital channels are. Going even further, what we are doing with our e-commerce clients is we are tracking weather for each user when he visits the website. So when user goes to a website, we locate him by his IP, then use geotargeting API to get exact location, name, city, and so on, then using weather API to see what's the exact weather, the temperature and weather condition at that moment in this city, and we are putting all this data back to Google Analytics. Based on that, we know now that in some cases, weather is influencing and increasing conversion rate. In some cases, weather conditions are decreasing the conversion rate and changing user behavior. Because we know that, we can now adapt our digital marketing based on it. So we know if the weather forecast for the weekend, it's really good, and if it's sunny, usually the conversions go up. We can invest more into digital marketing or increase our CPC bits to get more users because they are more valuable for us. Okay, why again are we doing this? First of all, to optimize our digital marketing, to get more out of it for our clients. Secondly, to optimize user experience, to satisfy our user needs better, and of course, at the end, to better target users. Nobody wants spam on web, lots of not related ads and so on. But if your ads will be related to user needs, it's going to be much better. Okay, second step then is to adapt the content. How good are we at the content level? Content marketing, again, is a keyword which is used a lot lately in the digital marketing area. But exactly how good are we? And here's the formula. If bounce rate is larger than 50% at least, then we suck. And what we are seeing with new clients, usually bounce rate is on average larger than 50%. Usually websites are really good when users know what they are looking for. So if I come to a website and I know that I want to buy a TV set with 42 inches and full HD, and that's it. There are lots of filters and so on the e-commerce websites to filter out the exact products I'm looking for. And usually those products have a quite good description. So yeah, this part is okay. But those two parts are here is where we suck. So if user is researching why should I buy a product? Why should I need a new TV set? Why should I buy a 4K TV? Do you know what 4K TV is? Who knows that? Do you know what HD TV sets are? Yeah, okay, so the new stuff is 4K something. But who's going to buy 4K TV set if nobody knows what 4K TV set is? So you need to invest in this C/awareness phase and produce content to educate your users. Why do you need this? Then when they are in the research phase thinking about buying the product, they want to have support which TV set should I select, how big should it be, and so on. And again, if you don't have buying guides or stuff like that, you're not supporting them. And at the end, here we are good, and here again we suck. When we change this is again a client of ours, a travel agency from Slovenia, and they were really good at the last level again. But then we added some content regarding the destinations they were taking people and blogged about it on their website and so on. And it resulted in really good results. So these are Google SERPs, and this is keyword travel to India. What we are seeing here is, first of all, Google AdWords ad with lots of pictures, which is quite nice. And then you have their organic result here. And it increased, only adding content, it increased their organic traffic by 32%, increased the number of transactions by 42%. So no user experience, nothing else, just the content. And 55% increase in income, because they did start to educate the users. Second case study, it's again an e-commerce web shop. They prepare a content hub, and their traffic on the content hub went up for 2,400 something %. More than 2,000 videos are played each month on their content hub. 30,000 articles are read, and the bounce rate is only 37%. So actually good content, which we know now because we are tracking micro conversions and so on. We know it influences the purchase decision. And at the end, helping consumers throughout the consumer decision journey not only brings conversions, but it will build your reputation. It will build trust about your brand. Second, last thing, we need to adapt the marketing. Maybe it's the most important thing for us guys. But we need to know how are users behaving in each step of consumer decision journey. We did define 8 pillars of digital marketing framework. So for each touch point in the consumer decision journey, and there are lots of touch points or micro moments if you use Google, we defined 8 pillars. First, target group, then Google, goal, user need, message, digital channel, targeting, KPI, and content. I'll just rush through them to explain a little bit. So how do we define target group? In the C phase, so we are using again a see-think-do model. In the C phase are all the people who are using our similar or substituted products. So if you're selling sneakers, so everybody inside this room is having something on his feet, her feet, so everybody's in the C group. Then you have think, users who are thinking about maybe I need to buy new sneakers. In the do phase are people who are holding their credit cards in their hands and they know exactly which sneakers they want to buy. Then you have goal. What's our goal from the brand lab? In the C phase, it's to build awareness. In the think phase, it's to build engagement with brand and with users. And in do phase, of course, our goal is to increase sales. What are the user needs? In C phase, they don't want to buy anything. They maybe need to feel connected with the brand. Do you remember is it Dove ad? They were drawing the faces of the women last year. Oh, and mom campaigns. Is it moms from P&G? Olympic campaigns. Everybody, and John Lewis, of course, Christmas campaigns. Everybody's like crying and stuff. But they don't sell anything there. It's just emotional connection. And these are really good ads. Then you have research phase. Users want to learn more about the product, about the category. They are researching and thinking of buying. And of course, in do phase, all we need is the best deal we can get, of course. The lowest price. I know which sneakers I need them cheap. What's the message we should put out to the users? Of course, in the C phase, we need emotional message, creative that builds emotions. In the think phase, we need creative that encourages research and engagement. And the do phase, just bring the discounts. Clear CTA with focusing on product and offer. Digital channels are, of course, again different. But you'll see that like Facebook and Google are all over the place. But that doesn't mean that you're going to use the same ads, use the same targeting in all these 3 cases. It all changes. You're using only the same channel. And regarding targeting, These are just some of possible targeting on those channels. Hundreds of different targeting for each phase on each channels, and you really need to know which targeting you should be using to get most out of the channel. Then, of course, at the end, KPIs, which I mentioned before, but the most common mistake we are seeing this is that companies, they have a goal to, let's say, increase the brand awareness or to be better in the research phase, but after a while, after a week or after a month, they start to measure these campaigns with revenue. It's not going to work. How do I apply this to display advertising? Really simple. So these are the Nike ads. So we have the C phase, awareness phase. It's the video ad from London Olympics, I think, and there's a black kid standing on top of the water jump, and he's really scared. And then you see him from the side, and he jumps, and that's it. No product, no, and everything they do is find your greatness, Nike. That's it. So again, really wide-oriented creative. Emotions, you use wide targeting, like affinity targeting, demographic targeting, and so on. Our goal is to build brand. Then you have research phase. Nike is launching a new product line, Nike Free Bionic. No price, not purchase. Call to action is learn more. Creative, which encourages research, more specific targeting like interest in market, topic-based, and engagement with the brand. It's the goal. And in do phase, you're using banners with exact products, with prices, or even better with discounts. These are the results, again, for one of our clients. They are selling ink for printers, and the same budgets, of course. No budget increase, but 70% more sales, 50% lower cost per acquisition of new customer, 50% higher conversion rate, and almost 1,000% of ROI. So every euro, 100 euros out, then, 1,000 euros out. At the end, you need to capture micro moments. You need to manage and to prepare manageable strategy for every micro moment user is having in their consumer decision journey. And there are really some good stuff out there. Do you know about remarketing? Yeah. Do you know about customer match? Google customer match? Nobody knows. Yeah, like 2 guys know. So it's a new stuff from Google, but it really brings power into digital. Google Customer Match enables you to upload your emails or your customer emails into Google advertising platform, and then based on your segmentation from your CRM and together with remarketing, you can really target a precise segment of users. And because you know exactly that these users with this email are usually, let's say, spending 50% more than other users, and because you know that their online behavior is like that and that and that, you can adapt the message, adapt the targeting, adapt the frequency, and so on. And again, other areas, you will soon know the company because they are taking over the Estonian airline space in Estonia. We are working with them, and for them we created, I think it was 565 different remarketing lists. Micro lists, which then we are using to get better and better and better and to produce more targeting ads for our users. And here are the results. So again, 80% higher revenue, 140% higher conversion rate, and 30% lower costs because we target users which are important, and we are not targeting and advertising to users which are not important to us. But the ultimate goal, of course, for you and for us should be decrease cost per action, cost per acquisition. And here are the results, again, from our top clients. Just to let you know, the strategy is actually working because nobody believes me at the end. Revenue up 160%, with no additional sessions, because we didn't invest any additional money into it year on year. Conversion rate went up almost 100%, per session value almost 120%, transactions 127, average order value also 14%, while cost per transaction decreased for 46%. And of course, you didn't remember anything, yeah? So here are 3 basic steps, what you should do. First of all, invest and prepare unique content. Users are looking for unique content which will satisfy their needs throughout the consumer decision journey. Do not focus only on purchase, focus on research and educate your users. Secondly, if you don't have lots of money, first digital channel you should be using is organic search. Either search engine optimization, either Google AdWords for search, either the best option is both, to combine them. And the last thing, invest in remarketing. Again, if you don't have the money, remarketing is quite cheap because you're targeting niche segments of your users. And thank you, that's it. I'm on time.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. We have some questions from Twitter. The first one is how to measure offline channel impact on online channels. For example, if I have a TV campaign or ad on radio.
Okay, so for TV campaigns and radio ads, it's quite difficult. There is a product from Google called Odometry, which basically enables you to do that. So if you have like Google AdWords, then you have Google Analytics, then you have Google Analytics Premium, then you have somewhere up there Odometry. It costs, I think, $1 million per year. So that's the question. So it's really hard to measure, but there is a solution which does that. Secondly, what you can do if you can get a raw data, like Excel data about advertising from any channel, you can use custom cost import into Google Analytics. So you can import either Facebook, either Twitter, either TV data into your Google Analytics just to see the influence. And what else you can do is if you are like tracking, of course you're tracking like transactions in your stores, you can connect your system from the stores with Google Analytics automatically to send transactions as well from stores as well to Google Analytics to see the data there, and then you can connect the dots.
Mm-hmm. I have one more. How the offline marketing affect online? How can we measure it? And it's connected with cross channels.
I think it's similar answer to the first one, but the effect depends on the industry. The travel industry is the only industry where the majority of transactions is happening online. All the rest industries, again, offline is the most important conversion channel at the end. So we need to track offline still.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Now I want to try the catch box. Maybe we have some question from audience, maybe from second floor. So we have? Can you put your hand up? No?
Over there.
Where?
I want to ask, you told that in C-step you don't use email marketing. Why is that?
In basically, C-step is building awareness.
You use demographics and segmentation with email marketing. Why don't you use it in C-step?
Because in C-step, it's awareness. We don't know who exactly our users are in like awareness phase. We know that like they are usually women aged from 20 to 50 years old living in this area. That's it. So this is the demographic targeting. If we have their email, they are usually in the research phase because somehow we were able to get them email. We are not buying emails. If you are doing like buying emails, email database, you could maybe use email marketing as well in the C step, but I wouldn't advise to do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for Andraž.
Okay.
Let's make some noise for Andraž, and he's open to questions for all the day. I think so, yes?
Yeah.
You're open.